Darwin Platform Group of Companies is one of the fastest growing diversified Indian conglomerates with global footprints. It is setting up offices globally and tying up with companies across the globe from multiple sectors. The company has ventured into real estate and construction, stockbroking and finance, arms and ammunition, mining, airlines and many other sectors.
Hello, Namaskar. You're watching BTTV. This is Market Today. I'm Tanya Aneja and with me Shel Bhatnagar, our markets editor. Well, bulls are back in the game today, and where are the opportunities for you and what should be your strategy in the last trading hour? We will discuss this and much more. But first, let's do one thing. Let's take a quick market check. So if we look at the levels at this point in time, Nifty is hovering around that 21,200 odd mark, and the high that we hit today was of 21,269. Nifty Bank also trading in the green today, 111 there on this index, 47,564. That's the level where we are at this point in time. And broader markets also, they are also back in the action today. Mid cap, small cap, both up 1% as we speak. But quickly, Shel, coming to you now, the good news is that the uptrend is intact, and the trick is, I think, not to panic and stay invested.
The trick is not to panic and stay invested. I think that's the line of the day, Tanya. And let's just wait for the market to close today and then be a little more confident about it. But yes, what has happened, Tanya, is that a lot of sense and sensibility has prevailed. Let me just first do the price check, and then I'll get back to this. Now, what is the most interesting part is that the index opened some 100 points lower, and from then on, which is the low of 20,980, the index has staged a wonderful recovery of more than 270 points, and that is the consistency, the strength and the expectations that major investors have from the market, that any dip that you saw yesterday, which sort of unnerves the market for no reason at all except for technicals, will be bought into. I'd just like to make one other important point is how HDFC Bank has behaved, as also Reliance, Tanya. Remember, the two most traded counters in the morning trade were IRFC and IRCTC. Well, it is the day of the big boys, and it is the big boys that are now pulling up the market. So HDFC Bank today is the top traded counter, 1.6% higher, and 2,500 crores worth of transactions have happened. We still have an hour to go. So basically, the dip that happened yesterday and the early morning gap down has been bought into as far as index heavyweights are concerned. That is also true for Reliance Industries, 1.5% higher, 2565, and at the moment somewhere like 1,463 crores worth of transactions have happened. Tanya, we started the Nifty at a completely negative point of just 3 or 4 stocks in the green versus 45 in the red. At the moment, if you see, there is a dramatic change when it comes to how markets are reacting to this move. When you look at the number of losers, it's now just 4 plus 4 plus 4, somewhere like 13. 13 is to 37. So it's completely moved in the other way. And the kind of rallies that we have seen in mid caps and small caps have been fantastic. If you look at the mid cap index at the moment, the small cap index is up 1.5% at 6,836, and the day's low was 6,578. So 300 point uptick here. And when you look at the Nifty mid cap index, it's up 1.2%, 44,550. The recovery is from 43,280. So it's a 1,300 point recovery on the Nifty mid cap. It basically means, to cut the long story short, the dip has been purchased, and we are now at the day's high as far as the Nifty is concerned, somewhere close to that 21,250. Let us see how the remainder of the day pans out, and all high beta, which is IRCT, IRFC, Tata Power, you look at SGVN, you look at Hind Copper, MSTC, all these stocks have gone up sharply. Tanya.
Absolutely, Shell, and I think let's wait and watch. How the action pans out going forward, and our guest Soni Patnaik also will join us shortly. But Shell, coming to you again, what do you make of yesterday's price action? I mean, it was very sudden, very sharp. I know you mentioned that it was a temporary hiccup, but what do you make out of that?
So Tanya, let me just put it in perspective. Yesterday's fall in terms of percentage fall as well as the number of points dropped on the Nifty and other indices was substantial. But the point I'm trying to make is that there wasn't any volume. See, till 2 p.m. or see till about 1 p.m. The market was actually up. It had hit a high of 20,000, almost 600 on the Nifty yesterday. And then, there was this sudden and very sharp sell-off, which is fine, some people book profit. But even till now, we are unable to find what the reason was. It was all technical. बाकी जो वो बाजार में बातें चल रही थी, कोविड बढ़ गया, मार्जिन एक्स्ट्रा लग गई, वो सब ठीक है. That was all known and baked into the price. But these are sudden, swift moves which, remove the froth from the market. Now people will think 10 times before getting fresh into the move, and more importantly, Tanya, people who have booked from 20,550 to 20,100 have made supernormal profit by exiting positions, and people who have got in from today morning 20,950 to 21,255 so far, and we will reclaim our previous highs, are the new entrants. So that is what I'm trying to say, that the old give place to the new and the new will take the market higher. These are a part of the bulls and bear rallies. We have for so long advocated extreme caution. We have for so long advocated stop losses, and that, if you have put in place, have worked wonders for you. Tanya.
Absolutely, got that, Shell. But talking about these temporary hiccups only and the profit booking as well, which are the sectors which you feel, wherein investors should buy a 5 to 10% decline at this point in time?
Tanya, I think defense. There was a statement given by Bharat Electronics today to another media organization, where they have upped the guidance for order book from 20,000 crores to 25,000 crores. So that's a 25% uptick. So defense is on the move, and what's really surprising and pleasantly surprising, Tanya, was in the morning when there was carnage all around, it was only the defense counters that were up, and that was on news. Massgaon Dock, it got a shipbuilding order. Cochin Shipyard got an order. BEML is now up 7.5%. You have a strong move coming in on BEL. So these are the kind of stocks where you have strong order flow, strong investors holding hands. Those are the ones that one should back. But Tanya, like I repeatedly say, making a fresh entry at these current levels at least is not my cup of tea. Those who have, they should continue holding, and no point exiting at these kind of numbers. But Bharat Dynamics, BEML, BEL, these are stocks that are showing fairly good traction. In fact, of the 76 stocks that I track in the PSU space, Tanya, what's really interesting is that there are only 4 plus 4, 8, 10 stocks that are down, and some of them are down less than 1%. In fact, Tanya, 9 stocks are down less than 1%, 65 are soaring, and Indian Bank, which is the top loser, minus 5%, actually had a day's low of 391 versus 408. So the dip here has been purchased as well. I'm just trying to point out that the underlying sentiment of the market, the granularity as we say it, is fairly strong. It's visible when you see the advanced decline ratios. In the morning, there were just 300 stocks that were up, Tanya. Now the number is 1561. And it is 400 stocks that are on the back foot, 480 actually. The broadest index that we have, NSE 500, has an advanced decline ratio of 3.6 is to 1.3. So, you know, that shows the strength of the market. Look at SBI, days high 643. Look at IRCT, days high 6.7% higher, 870 almost. So these are the granularities of the market that look good. I think we'll have Ashish Chaturmoda with us. Ashish, a very warm welcome to you. You contact us via the phone today, so it's a different feel altogether. How do you see this market's reaction to yesterday's fall? Your views, please.
Yeah. So, good afternoon, Shibai. I think we had seen some sharp reaction in small and mid cap. There were a lot of concerns with regards to the valuation parameters. There was a discussion about a shift which was taking place from small and mid cap to larger cap names because of the expected inflows from FIIs in days to come post this, Fed's decision of cutting interest rates in the next three tranches. So, these kind of things kind of created some kind of nervousness in the small and mid cap, and on some kind of rumors and news flows, we saw some severe sell-off specifically into small and mid cap. But as you rightly mentioned, what the advanced decline is here, the weight and the kind of recovery we are witnessing in most of these small and mid cap after this sell-off is clearly indicating still the domestic flows are chasing these names on every possible dip. And as far as our portfolios are concerned, or what we think is that large cap ideally, from a valuation perspective, from a flow perspective, from an input perspective, they looks very attractive at this point of time. So banking, financials, capital goods, and IT. These are the spaces where I think in the large cap space we expect a decent amount of recovery. But in the small and mid cap, we think one needs to be very, very stock specific or sector specific. And time and again we have spoken about defense, power as a sector. To some extent, proxy plays in the capital goods manufacturing space. And even we think railways, although they have seen a very massive rally, but because of the size of opportunity which this space provides for, selective stock opportunities can do really well. You mentioned about IRCTC, how the stock from 700 rupees has moved to almost 900 in a very short span of time. Same is the case with companies like RVNL, Railtel, Titagar, and some of these stocks we continue to hold in our portfolio. And we think because of the strong, big size of opportunity, this space still looks very promising.
Okay, we were waiting for you, and just as you came, the Nifty is at the day's high, 21,270, almost approaching the pivot level for today. 120 points higher. That's the good luck that you bring to the screen. I just want to understand, did you use today's down dip to buy to existing positions, or is there anything fresh that you have added between yesterday afternoon, today morning, and now?
Obviously, we are getting good opportunities in the existing names itself, because a lot of these stocks where we have a very constructive view, and we have seen dips in the last, in the last 1 or 2 days, and that's giving us a good opportunity to average into these positions. As I mentioned, Shalbhai, power as a space this looks very promising. We have time and again discussed on stocks like NTPC, SJVN, Inox Wind, and as a disclosure, we continue to hold these names in our portfolio. So we like this theme, and if this start coming, then I think this gives us a good opportunity to add these names. In the defense basket, again a disclosure, Bharat Dynamics is one stock which we continue to hold in our portfolio. Almost 24,000 crore kind of order book, strong revenue visibility, with a lot of indigenization. Operating margins are significantly higher, and a kind of in the guided missile segment. So I think these kind of stocks, if they are giving us a dip, then obviously we get these dips as an opportunity to add more into stuff like Bharat Dynamics Limited in the defense basket. And as we mentioned, PSU banks is something which we like a lot because of the reasonable valuation which they still have after a massive rally of in the last 2 years time frame. But because of the reasonable valuation and the kind of credit growth we are expecting, we are seeing in this PSU banks in the range of 16 to 18% and very controlled NPAs. This gives us a lot of comfort from a price recovery perspective in a lot of these PSU banks. I think that's in this space. We are definitely looking as buy and dips into a lot of these PSU banks and CPS and PSU bank with ETF as well.
Okay, absolutely. Got that, Mr. Chaturmota. And since we are talking about banks, let's discuss HDFC Bank as well. The big boy is moving on strong volumes today, highest since July end, and the level where we are at this point in time in 1684. 2% uptick there, and top traded counter as well. So what are your thoughts on HDFC Bank? Where is this stock headed according to you?
Yeah, so that's the point. Initially I made that now we are going to see some serious inflows coming from large FIIs into India, and their first point of interest would be typically BFSI as a space. We have time and again seen this space interest a lot to them, and because as HDFC Bank is the market leader and has not seen some serious recovery, we think there is a lot of inflows we can expect in stocks like HDFC Bank, ICICI Bank, and even including IT, I think as a space where a lot of money will flow. So specifically, if I have to take a call on HDFC Bank, my sense is after a strong, underperformance in last 1.5 years, now I think there's going to be a strong catch-up rally which we expect in HDFC Bank, and stock looks good for a very reasonable recovery. So from a price perspective, technically, I think it looks like we are heading towards 1700 kind of trajectory in HDFC Bank. And if that happens, that itself could be a big figure for market to sustain rally from current levels to maybe an all-time high trajectory.
Okay, and what would be your top blue chip pick, Mr. Chaturmota, for the near term?
So yes, as I mentioned, HDFC Bank we continue to like, but in the power space, I think NTPC is one stock. As a disclosure, we continue to hold it in our PMS, and time and again we have been very bullish on NTPC for last 6-7 months, and we still feel that the way NTPC is transitioning itself from thermal based to even on the renewable segment, and with 30 gigawatt as a capacity which they are going to create over a period of next 5 to 7 years, I think there is going to be a huge expansion which NTPC is going to do, and with excess of funds, at a lower cost as compared to the private peers, give them a cost advantage in terms of financing, and in terms of valuation also. If you look at NTPC is still trading below 2 times price to book, so that gives us a comfort from a valuation perspective as well. So all together, I think in the power segment, NTPC would be our top pick. And as I mentioned, IT as a pocket, we expect a reasonable recovery to be seen from current levels, and how we are playing it. So rather than taking a individual bet in the larger cap names, what we have decided this time is to go with for ITB, which is an ETF of IT companies, larger cap IT companies, and to play the mid cap and small cap. We have already mentioned stocks like Persistent, Science Limited, Tata Elxsi. These are the names we continue to hold in our portfolio. But just to play the larger cap names, we are this time choosing ITBs as an index to play this entire recovery rally in the IT basket.
Okay, and Ashish Chaturmota is a past master of using ETFs to play the uptick. Somewhere like almost 2 years ago, he had suggested buying into PSU banking ETFs in the vicinity of 28-29 rupees. That amount has actually more than doubled. Ashish bhai, we've discussed large caps where you find NTPC attractive, and of course you've named a slew of companies such as Bharat Dynamics, SGVN, as also a few others in terms of picks for the long term. What interests you in the mid cap and the small cap space if you remove power and defense from your theme?
Yes, selectively, if you remove the power defense, then I think capital goods is one space which looks promising to us, and we believe this is a decadal story because we expect this contribution of manufacturing to go from 17 to 30%, and for that we expect significant amount of capacity additions happening. So I think some of the proxies are in the wires and cable segment where we've seen companies like KEI, Polycab will continue to do well. So this is one pocket which is of interest to us. And then apart from that, I think there are some selective names in the consumption basket where we have been quite bullish. So stock like Vector Food is one company which we have been tracking very very closely, and we have in fact traded it a couple of times and made some return when the company hit a margin of 9 to 10% kind of EBITDA margin, and we expected a decent recovery towards 14 to 15 kind of EBITDA margin, and that's how the PE re-rating happened in the stock. So I think this stock still interests us, but this time my focus would be more on larger cap names rather than the small and mid cap, because in small and mid cap we are very very selective at this point of time. As compared to what aggression we had a couple of months back. So my sense is now shift is happening towards large cap names, and that's where the focus area is.
Ashish bhai, you've just named two, which is NTPC and of course Bharat Dynamics Limited. We'll take it as a large cap. Name two or three other stocks where you have good, decent positions in the large which might perform excellently in the coming 3 odd months.
Shalbhai, we have position in Larsen and Toubro Infotech, which is LTIM, and we believe that now because of the expected rate cut in the interest rate, we will see now a lot of allocation will go into IT companies. One, we expect first of all that the discretionary IT spend at some point of time is going to see reasonable recovery, and if that happens, then a lot of these large cap IT companies will be beneficiary. But within that, if I have to look from a technical positioning perspective, LTM is one stock which has been consistently outperforming its larger peers, whether it's Infosys, TCS, or Wipro Tech Mahindra is concerned, as far as 3 to 6 months time frame is concerned. And this gives us a lot of confidence that this is one stock which will continue to do extremely well. From a technical perspective, it looks like stock is headed towards 6,800 to 7,000 kind of trajectory, and at around 5,800 there's a very strong breakout which has happened in LTIM. So LTIM would be my top pick in the IT basket from a large cap perspective.
Okay, so this is L&T Mindtree, the merger of L&T Infotech with another group company, Mindtree, which is what Ashish bhai prefers in the large cap. Remember, the all-time high for L&T Mindtree was 7,514. This was somewhere in the December of 2021, and of course, from that point of time, we've seen the stock correct sharply and then of course rise up again. But at the moment, available at 61.36, and this is the highest since since April of 2022, so an 18-month high. This is what you prefer, and of course you've mentioned banks as one of your top bets. Any large cap bank apart from HDFC Bank that you prefer?
Definitely, Shava, it would be SBI, State Bank of India, with very reasonable valuation and the kind of expected credit growth we expect. I think in the PSU banks, SBI would be a biggest beneficiary. It has consolidated for 12 months and out of this consolidation, it has been given a breakout with a very massive volume uptake. This gives us a confidence that SBI this time is headed towards 700, 720 kind of trajectory. In a disclosure, we continue to hold our position in SBI, and we believe SBI would lead the entire PSU rally. So apart from HDFC Bank, it will be SBI in the PSU banking market as our top pick.
Okay, absolutely got that. And before we let you go, Mr. Chaturmota, just one last question on PSUs, because the other story which has played out well all through this year has been the PSU SPAC, and all PSUs have become multi-baggers. However, the peak market cap of PSU is nowhere close to what it was in 2010. So I want to know it from you, that is there more steam left now, and what are your thoughts?
So, Tanya, as I mentioned, few of the selective pockets within PSUs where our interest lies is first of all is the power. Because we firmly believe if the renewable energy capacity has to go from 170 gigawatt to 500 gigawatt, which implies 17% kind of CAGR capacity addition growth in next 7 years, this will lead to, some serious inflows coming into power as a basket. So anything which is related to power in the PSU banking, in the PSU, CPSC, ETF, CPSC stocks, that would be of a lot of interest to investors. So I think stocks like NTPC, Power Grid, CFC, SJVM, these are the names which will continue to do very well. We firmly believe defense is a very big opportunity, and although we have seen a massive rally in defense in last 2 years, and we have also been riding this trend for last 2 years, but we firmly believe there are no reasons why we should not see some significant amount of top line growth, bottom line growth in companies. I think Dynamics, Mcdonald, which are also part of our portfolio, they continue to do well. And has to be very, very selective after a significant uptick. But yes, stocks like IRCTC, RVNL, these are the names which we continue to like within the railway basket as well.
Okay, absolutely got that. And one last question on Power Grid as well, Mr. Chaturmota. It is the top gainer from the Nifty pack today. It is up around 2.4% as we speak. 232 is the level, back in action again in today's trading session. What are your thoughts? Where is this stock headed according to you going forward?
Hello. Which stock you mentioned?
Power Grid.
Power, yeah. So yes, the entire power as a theme will do very good, and definitely after NTPC, Power Grid looks very, very interesting. My sense is, dips in stocks like Power Grid, PFC, NTPC, there will be a lot of bias, and technically speaking also, I think stock is headed towards 250, 260 kind of trajectory. And my sense is 220, 224 is where a very strong breakout has happened. So my sense is another 10 to 12% upside from current levels could not be ruled out in Power Grid as well.
Absolutely. So on that wonderful note, thank you so much, Mr. Chaturmota, for taking the time out and being with us here on BTTV today. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for us to take a short and quick break, but lots more coming up on the other side. Stay tuned.
Darwin Platform Group of Companies is one of the fastest growing diversified Indian conglomerates with global footprints. It is setting up offices globally and tying up with companies across the globe for multiple sectors. The company has ventured into real estate and construction, stockbroking and finance, arms and ammunition, mining, airlines, and many other sectors.
In today's rapidly evolving business environment, when risk is omnipresent, managing risks is no longer just about ticking a few boxes. Businesses need to maintain a panoramic view of risks to stay ahead of the curve. Join us to explore how organizations can rethink risk to unlock new possibilities and become fit for future. At PwC presents De-Risking the Future in collaboration with Business Today.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and now it's time for us to welcome our technical guest on the show today. We have with us Mr. Osho Krishnan. Krishan, who is the senior research analyst at Angel One Limited. Good afternoon, Osho. Very good to have you on BTTV again. And let's start with a quick technical check on the markets. Bulls are back in the action today, and experts are saying that the uptrend is still intact. So I want to know it from you that what are now important levels one should watch out for.
Very good afternoon, Tanya. First of all, thank you for having me at your show again. Well, looking at the overall technical setup, we have seen a very drastic bearish candle in yesterday's trading sessions for Nifty, which was approximately which we have seen after approximately 2 months, which was very much long overdue in our market to witness some kind of intensified profit booking in our market. So as of now, looking at the recent developments that we can see on the technical charts, one can expect that on the higher end, market has taken a breather from here onwards, or crossing the zone of 21,500 will be very challenging. On the downside, 21,000 again has provided a very strong support zone, as we have seen in today's session, as our market started on a very gap down note, but from there onwards, the bulls have taken control over the market once again. But overall, the broader range remains around 21,000 to 21,500 on a broader term time frame. For short term time frame, 21,100 and 21,300 is the levels that one should look for on immediate basis. On the downside, any dip towards the zone of 21,100 should be auguring well for the bulls, while on the higher end, we expect 21,300 should be acting as a very strong resistance, and one should even try to make or book profits, or even aggressive traders can go short at those levels.
Okay, absolutely. So these are the levels one should watch out for. And Osho, what about your top technical picks as well for the near term?
See, overall, I have a few recommendations, both on the side. Firstly, on the long side, FMCG space looks very promising, because looking at the rise in volatility, the FMCG space looks stable in current zone. So one can expect HUL, Hindustan Unilever, to perform from here onwards. On level specific front, firstly, one can make a target for HUL approximately towards the zone of 2620. Not a very aggressive target, but one can definitely look for consistently upside movement in HUL in the coming periods. While on the downside, the cluster of moving average is having a very strong support near the zone of 2500. So 2500 should be kept as a stop loss. And on the higher end, 2620 is the target that one can expect in HUL. The second recommendation is for a short side. On a selling note, Bajaj Auto have seen a very drastic up move in the recent period, and currently the profit booking in Bajaj Auto is overdue for the time being. So one can expect that to happen in the near future. So for Bajaj Auto, 6200 put option is something that we have recommended to buy near about the zone of 55 to 58 odd levels, with a stop loss of nearly 10. And we are expecting a target of nearly 130 in the coming period.
Okay, let's look at the 6200 put on Bajaj Auto. Remember, these are just 7 trading sessions left in the month of December. FNO expiry, and next week is a truncated week. At the moment, this one is at 58 rupees 80 paisa. The 6200 put for Bajaj Auto. I think we are showing the call. It's not the call. Let's look at the put. The put is at 59 rupees exactly. Yes, and it's up 24 rupees today. So some part of the fall that we've seen is already baked into the price. Let's look at the all-time high for this one in this expiry. It was somewhere in the vicinity of say 266 and is now available at somewhere like 59. This is a very, very sensible trade that Osho has suggested, and this is something to be looked at on the short side. So you can buy the put and of course limit your potential losses to the value of the put, unlike people who sell options where the risk is unlimited and the maximum gain that you can make is the value of the option sold. Okay, that was a wonderful trade to suggest, and kudos to you, Osho, that in this kind of a roaring bull market, you have the ability to suggest a short trade, and that too in one of the best performing stocks, not only in the Nifty but in the broader market, which is a Bajaj Auto. Let's just spend some more time across the market and look at how things are moving. Aurobindo Pharma, this is a pure defensive play when it comes to the sector. But Osho, one of the highest beta counters I have ever witnessed, a fresh record high here. How would you want to negotiate Aurobindo Pharma? It's accompanied by a very, very sharp rise in volume, 43 lakh shares traded so far. And of course, the price tick is substantial, 1095 in front of you, 6% higher. What does it say?
See, overall, there are two things that we have to focus for the pharmaceutical companies. Firstly, obviously, Oro Pharma was at a very strong technical momentum pace. It was hovering above the 21-day exponential moving average. So, technical perspective, it was already in a very positive manner, and today it has given a consolidation breakout. That too on the back of robust volume. So, obviously, from here onwards, one can expect the rally to continue because after consolidation of let's say 3 to 4 weeks, this counter has seen some kind of strong momentum. So from here onwards, one can expect a decent up move, but already today we have witnessed approximately 6% of upsurge. So the higher target comes around 1120 on the very short term perspective. But also looking at the risk reward, it is not favorable as of now. But in future, if there will be any dip towards the zone of 1070, 1075, then that will be a very strong statement for this counter to have a buy. Secondly, looking at the recent developments on the COVID cases increase, so we are actually bullish on the pharmaceutical companies. So looking at also the pharma companies are looking very positive, and technically it was obviously positive with the formation on the daily chart. So from here onwards, 1120 is the target on immediate basis. Once it reach those target, then we will be again reviewing the counter, but better to wait for some kind of dip to accumulate this counter towards the zone of 1070, if not have taken already.
Absolutely. So that was Aurobindo Pharma for you. But Osho Nifty Metal is also shining today, and the company on my radar is NMDC. So if you see the current price action, the stock is actually hovering around its 52-week high of 198. 193.7, that's the level where we are at this point in time, and the stock is actually up over 83% in the past 6 months. So what do the technical charts now suggest for NMDC?
See, cycle of higher highs, higher lows. But looking at the overall setup, 200 zone is again being a psychological mark is likely to act as a very strong resistance in the coming future. So from here onwards, one again should not be very much aggressive because as I have mentioned, the market has already been overbought, and first time it has given such a huge signal of correction or profit booking. So better to wait for some kind of consolidation in the market. Post the consolidation, one can definitely try to look into such counters which has been into a very strong up movement. But as of now, on the lower end, 185, 184 is the level where one should try to accumulate. On the higher end, 196 is the zone where one should try to book their profits.
Okay, absolutely got that. But Osho, a lot of stocks were buzzing yesterday and they are buzzing today as well. I mean, any buzzing stocks that you would like to carry forward for tomorrow's trading session?
See, overall, there are various counters for me. The first counter which comes into my radar is Voltas. Because Voltas, if we will be seeing from past 3 days, it has given a very strong breakout from the zone of 910, 920 odd levels. And yesterday also, again, it has tested the zone of 955, 958 odd levels, and then again it has corrected. But in today's market, again, in such kind of market, it is up by approximately 1.4%. So it is still has the potential because it has came out from the consolidation zone on the broader time frame recently in last 2 trading sessions. So from here onwards, we can expect a very strong up movement in this counter. For short to medium term, the target comes around 1050. So one should definitely accumulate this for a higher target, and any dip towards the zone of 910, 915 should again be auguring well for the bull. So one should even try to even average this counter around the zone of 915 for a higher target of 1050 in a short run. But for immediate or momentum perspective also, this counter looks aggressive, and one for aggressive traders also, one can try to accumulate it at the current zone 940 for immediate target of 965.
Fair point. We are now at 310, and it's 20 minutes for the markets to short shop. We are at a fabulous sentiment in terms of what it was yesterday same time and what it was early morning. There has been a twist in the tail, and the tail has got better and better. Nifty 21,233, it's up 83 points, a sharp move coming here from the lows of 20,980. Let's look at the broader market in terms of how it's moving. The advance decline ratio on the National Stock Exchange is now even better, Tanya, since the time we spoke last. 1630 shares in the green, 425 in the red. We had, Tanya, unbelievably started with all 19 indices in the red. Now, will you believe it that all 19 are in the green? So a complete flip when it comes to the sentiment. The Nifty small cap index is the top gainer, 1.8% higher. The mid cap index is 1.7% higher, 44,763. And remember, the recovery from intraday lows on the mid cap index has been phenomenal. The low for today was 43,281, and we are at 44,764. So 44,764 minus 43,281 is somewhere like 1,490 points. An unbelievable day that we have seen, where the underlying characteristics of the Indian market have come to the fore, which is extreme strength. In terms of sectoral moves, it's the Nifty PSU Banking Index, which is the top gainer, 1.65%. And Tanya, what's really interesting, the broader advanced decline ratio in the Nifty 500 is 4:1. 400 shares in the green, 103 in the red. And that's how the markets are structured in the last 10 minutes of trade. Very, very strong buying coming in HDFC Bank. The index, as far as the Nifty is concerned, almost at day's high, and it's unbelievable moves on stock prices that I see, especially IRCTC. Osho, what would your view be on that one?
For IRCTC, this counter has seen a very drastic up move in this week from the zone of nearly 780, 790, which was a very strong resistance. From there onwards, the day it has crossed the zone of 800. Initially, we have seen strong short covering in this counter, followed by strong long additions also. So overall, the technical structure for this counter has shifted, because the support, which was approximately near 780 to 800 odd levels, now that has become which was the resistance, now that has become the support for this counter. And even if we will be looking at the overall movement in the past 2 to 3 trading sessions, there has been a lot of volatility in this counter. So overall, near to 6%, 7% of move can be seen in one single day. That is also backed by very strong volumes. So from here onwards, one can definitely look to accumulate this counter for a longer duration. It's not for a short-term duration, because there has been a drastic upchange, or there has been a drastic technical upshift in the support base. So any dip towards the zone of 800 to 820 now should be acting as a very strong support zone, while on the higher end, immediate basis, 890 to 900 is the first resistance. And as this counter has entered the overbought territory, so one should not be very much aggressive on the long side for this counter. One should basically wait patiently for any kind of dip towards the zone of 820, and then try to accumulate it for the immediate target of 900. And post that target also, this counter has the potential to reach even further highs.
Okay, absolutely, got that. And Shell, you were talking about mid cap, but I think we have seen a smart recovery coming in the small cap as well. I mean, the low was 14,091, and now we are at 14,621. Look at Hindustan Copper, Metropolis, SJVN, and Zensa Tech. These are some of the buzzing stocks from this space. So, any stocks from the small cap space that are on your radar, Osho?
See, as of now, I'm not very much keen on the small caps. I'm more focusing on the heavyweights as of now, because on the small cap, mid cap, and small cap both have given already a very significant rally. So there can be some kind of correction also, and the quantum for that correction is expected to be on the higher end. So my focus has shifted from mid or small caps towards the large cap once the market have reached at these levels. So one should basically have that conviction in the market to have a conservative approach, as well as the conviction should be there on the bullish side. So my overall view is on the large front on the heavyweight counters, but obviously mid cap and small caps are auguring well for the traders. So one should try to gauge those momentum on a for a day traders, but it should not be very much aggressive for a short to medium term time frame. So from here onwards, better to stay sidelines if one is an investor. But for a trader, yes, there will be ample amount of opportunities in both mid and small cap counters.
Okay, absolutely got that. Better to be on the sidelines. Yes, please go ahead, Shell.
So two stocks which are on record highs in this kind of a painful day, Sakshi or Aurobindo Pharma, on which, of course, Osho has given a view, as also Fortis Healthcare, both one a hospital chain and a pharmaceutical company. Fortis at the moment is trading at a record high, and the price is in front of you in the vicinity of 401.45. Up about 2.5%. Purposely, I looked at the all-time high list within the NSE 500, and I have this underlying dread, Tanya, that the market is prepping itself for some kind of bad news that might come because of COVID. You have a hospital stock and a pharma company doing well. Let us hope that I am completely wrong, and nobody would be the happiest other than me to be proved wrong here. But let's look at all the pharma gainers today, and they are substantial, and it's across the board, Tanya, whether you have hospital chains like Fortis and Metropolis 7.4% higher, whether you have testing companies like Lal Path Lab and Thyrocare, whether you have companies like Granules India and Lupin, all of them are in the green. I am hoping against hope that market is not prepping itself up for a move on the numbers as far as COVID cases are concerned, but mentally we must be prepared. HDFC Bank is also shutting shop at day's high. Osho, what would be your view on this one? We've seen a very strong traction, top traded counter, highest since July, and of course amongst the big boys that you are backing in terms of overall sectoral play.
Yes, looking at the heavyweight, one of the most heavyweight counters from our market, HDFC Bank has rallied nearly 2% in today's session. And most important construction that it has made on the daily time frame, that it has surpassed the previous swing high or swing close, which was near about 1660 odd levels. So today's closing has given a very significant up move or very significant bullish momentum in this counter. Even if we will be looking at the recent period, this counter was consolidating for over 5 to 6 trading sessions in a narrow zone. So today's momentum has given a very strong boost in the overall banking aspect, which has clearly been seen in the Bank Nifty index, because that has surged approximately 1% and has outperformed Nifty in today's market. So overall, HDFC Bank looks very positive as of now. After a very long day, after a very long period, it has came out from the 200-day SMA and it is all the technical indicators, all the small moving indicators are giving a positive crossover from here onwards. So overall trend has seemed to be reversed on the positive side. There will be a gradual up move, being the one of the most heavyweight company. We are not expecting a very drastic up move in this counter, but on the higher end, one can expect on immediate basis 1720 as the target for short-term traders. From longer term duration, one can definitely look for a higher target of nearly 1760, 1780 in the coming period. But for as of now, 1720 should be the first target where it might see some kind of resistance and profit booking.
Okay, absolutely. So these are the levels as far as HDFC Bank is concerned. We'll discuss some other Nifty 50 gainers and losers as well. But let's do one thing. Let's take a quick break. Lots more coming up on the other side. Stay tuned.
Darwin Platform Group of Companies is one of the fastest growing diversified Indian conglomerates with global footprints. It is setting up offices globally and tying up with companies across the globe for multiple sectors. The company has ventured into real estate and construction, stockbroking and finance, arms and ammunition, mining, airlines and many other sectors.
In today's rapidly evolving business environment, when risk is omnipresent, managing risks is no longer just about ticking a few boxes. Businesses need to maintain a panoramic view of risks to stay ahead of the curve. Join us to explore how organizations can rethink risk to unlock new possibilities and become fit for future. At PwC presents De-Risking the Future in collaboration with Business Today.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and now let's focus on some of the buzzing stocks. So 21,253, that's the level on Nifty where we are at. But Osho, coming to you, for these buzzing stocks from the Nifty 50, we have a lot of stocks and experts have been saying that it's going to be, a stock-specific selection that's going to play out going forward as well. We have HDFC Bank, which we just discussed, and then Britannia, then NTPC, then SBI, Tata Steel. Any other stock from the Nifty pack that is on your radar and that looks good on technical charts?
See, as of now, a majority of the counters, as you have mentioned, has already been on the higher end. So my perspective has changed a bit from here onwards. I have become more skeptical as of now, looking at the previous development that we have seen. So I'm morely into the higher zone, that those counters which have already gained a lot. So I'm expecting that there can be some kind of correction in the coming period. There are two reasons behind it. Firstly, we are near to the Santa rally, and Santa rally has been in the market. Secondly, there is 3 consecutive days of holiday. So before which we are not expecting that there will be a fresh accumulation in many of the counters. There will be stock specific action. So obviously one should be having that kind of approach in the market. But what we have observed in the recent period, that market lacks the consecutivity buying in the sectors. For example, if today FMCG pack is performing well, tomorrow it won't be performing well. For tomorrow, there will be some other thematic move that can be seen. So this is a very challenging market as of now. So one should not become very much complacent with the move that we are witnessing today from the lows of 21,000. It was a very strong support zone. So we were expecting that bulls should buy on such kind of dips. But now as we are approaching towards the zone of 21,300, I am not very much bullish in the market as of now, and I will rather wait for some corrections again for towards the zone of 21,100, and then I will be looking for some buying opportunity.
Okay, no worries, Osho. You didn't answer my question,
Okay,
but
so
let's take a quick view, Shell, on Bank of Baroda as well, because you remember we discussed this stock yesterday, and the stock is on a roll today as well. 224 is the level where we are at, 2.42% uptick there as we speak. Osho, quickly technical check on this particular counter.
This counter has given a breakout from the zone of 218, 219. Again, it has retested the neckline and again is gaining some kind of traction. So for immediate basis, 228 to 232 is the target that one can expect in this counter. On the lower end, 218 is the levels where one should try to put their stop losses, because any dip below the zone of 218 can again make this counter can again intensify further correction in this counter.
Okay, absolutely. Uh, Tanya, it's bad to stick your neck out in terms of certainties that are there in the market. But let me just stick one out and mine own, which is that you'll see a record close on Bank of Baroda fairly soon, whenever it comes, but it is going to come at about 225, 235. This stock is going to hit a record high and close much above that. Now it's already 325, and obviously not the right time to either extend trades or take them, because the last 5 minutes of trading are fairly painful as always. Osho, I have always wanted to ask this, and I take this opportunity now. It's Osho plus Kishan working for Angel One. How did this happen?
Uh, See, basically, Osho is the name that I have got from my father. Osho is the name that I got from my father because he is the follower of Rajneesh Osho, and the second name is Krishna. So it's again, there is a story behind my second name also. So both the names are having some kind of meaning in my life through my parents. So that is why my name is Osho Krishna. And Angel One is just because I have always been into this market. So Angel One, just being a company, has provided me the ample opportunity to give, and has given me experience to share and to learn from about these market by meeting you expertise from, and your core expertise and knowledge that I have an opportunity for me to learn from this market, and in between I try to even give some kind of suggestions for the clients also.
Absolutely. I figured out the first two parts, which is, I'm sure your parents would have named you the way you are, and one of them must have been a follower of, or continues to be a follower of the great philosopher Rajneesh. It was the Angel One that I couldn't figure out. Maybe you chose it yourself. Be that as it may, the markets are drawing to close on what has been a fantastic day as far as the Nifty is concerned, as also the broader market sentiment. It's 0.5% higher on the Nifty 21,265, while 0.5% gain for this kind of a market is not something that we often feel very proud about, but today is one of those days for two reasons. The index closes at its day's high, and it closes in green amidst great internal and global turmoil for equities. Not only was it a terrible day for Indian stocks yesterday, it was also a bad day for global equities, because we saw a sell-off following India to Europe and then to America, and from America to Asia back in the morning. So some sense and sensibility that prevailed, and some of the good things that I'd like to point out in this very sharp and strong uptick that has happened from day's low on the Nifty, on many other indices, is that it's led by blue chips. It's led by stocks that are sector leaders, such as HDFC Bank on the Nifty, 1.74% higher, 1685. It's led by stocks such as Reliance Industries, 1.4% higher, 2561. It's led by stocks such as Tata Motors, up 1% at about 709, and it's sort of led by stocks like Infosys across sectors I am talking about, and this is something to be appreciated. Whenever you come to the PSU theme, where high beta and low ticket size items were concerned, even they have come up with a very sharp show, primarily Hindustan Copper, 10% higher, 270, also near its day's high. The defense sector has come up with a fabulous defense of the market. BEML 8.7% higher, 2729. I believe this would be a fresh 52-week high. Strong moves coming in Cochin Shipyard, 6.5% higher, 1302. Hindustan Aeronautics, Garden Reach Shipbuilders, all of them ending in the green, especially BEL. So this is the appreciation that one looks at, and in the broader market, the advanced decline ratio is firmly in favor of bulls. I'll give you the latest one. Just allow me a moment. At the moment that I see in terms of how the advanced decline is structured, about 1700 stocks on the 1643 stocks on the National Stock Exchange have ended in the green, just 400 in the red. So the advanced decline is 4:1. NSE 500, the advanced decline is again 4:1. Within the Nifty, it's 37:13. So we are ending on a very strong note, and that's what is the best part. The day's high for many indices, Nifty, Bank Nifty, mid cap and small cap. Tanya.
Absolutely, Shell. We are ending on a strong note, और एक दिन की छुट्टी के बाद bulls are back in action, and how. And on that wonderful note, it's now time for us, ladies and gentlemen, to wrap up this edition of Market Today. And thank you so much, Osho. Thank you, Shell, for being with us here on BT TV and sharing these excellent ideas with us, as always. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to wrap up this edition, but lots more coming up for you only on BT TV. So stay tuned, and many thanks for watching.
Darwin Platform Group of Companies is one of the fastest growing diversified Indian conglomerates with global footprints. It is setting up offices globally and tying up with companies across the globe for multiple sectors. The company has ventured into real estate and construction, stockbroking and finance, arms and ammunition, mining, airlines and many other sectors.
In today's rapidly evolving business environment, when risk is omnipresent, managing risks is no longer just about ticking a few boxes. Businesses need to maintain a panoramic view of risks to stay ahead of the curve. Join us to explore how organizations can rethink risk to unlock new possibilities and become fit for future. At PwC presents De-Risking the Future in collaboration with Business Today.